Today, my friends, we're looking at the latest Seiko 5 sports model, the Kamen Rider. This is an exciting, accurate reissue after one of the most iconic Seiko sports models. This watch was offered by Splendor for review. I'll leave the link in the description. In 2024, Seiko is showing us that they can offer us accurate reissues after their iconic models for under $500. And no, it's not the SRPK17, it's a totally different model. And that's good news because Seiko used us to offer accurate reissues only for premium money. The Seiko 5 Sports Kamen Rider isn't just an accurate reissue of a vintage watch, but marks the rise of the sport dive watches, a breeding between practical everyday watches with excellent specs and diving instruments, born somewhere in the early 70s, where Seiko, especially the sports line, was offering three-hands watches with waterproof cases but with bidirectional friction bezel loomed at 12 o'clock for practical purposes. The modern SRPL03 was named after the Kamen Rider, or the Mask Rider after the Japanese TV series starring a superhero dressed like a bee, a fly, or a grasshopper. But the point is, the actor, which was performing the stunts as well, was wearing a 5126-8090, and that's why the TV show ended up being associated with the watch. And the modern version is offered in two color combos. There is the SRPL05, but also the silver dial version, the SRPL03, which is basically a reverse contrasted version to the black one, both coming with leather straps, so my choice for the review was still the better contrasted version. And I feel obligated to remind you what the Seiko 5 concept stands for. Precisely the 5 attributes that ensures the durability of these watches. So it needs to be equipped with an automatic movement, a day-date display, war resistance, a resist crown at 4 o'clock, plus a durable case and a durable bracelet. These attributes are transmitted from one generation to another, and the current ones are obviously a treat because they offer 10 bar as waterproofness, modern lume which is brighter and longer lasting, a better movement with hacking, and a better case finishing. Overall, a better product. In regard to the packaging, this is similar to the SRPK17 model, a watch which was beyond welcomed by the watch enthusiasts, because the packaging was also especially made to put more accent on the accuracy of the reissue. This one comes as well on a white outer case, and then we have the iconic one branded with the Shield 5 logo, and when you pull the cap off, surprise, this series comes with an extra leather strap. Now, as purpose and DNA, the Kamen Rider feels to be more of a racing watch, because Seiko made for this vintage 5 series such inspired racing watches with those bezels with checkered flags on it. And this model isn't far from that, the actual model being offered on an extra leather strap with the specific racing trimmed holes. The strap isn't incredibly soft, I haven't tried it to wear it, but at least it looks well made, has a solid construction, and I think it will amplify the racing DNA of the watch even more. As for the bracelet, if you are familiar with the previous 5 reissued model, basically it shares the same bracelet with the same finishing, the same links with the same stamped clasp. The only difference is the end of the links are molded to unify the case lugs into a single volume, where the SRPK17 has straight end lugs which are hosted underneath the tonneau case of the watch. Now, moving into its vintage inspired design, when you'll preview it for the first time, you'll probably be like, this is not your typical watch for sure, with standard proportions. It feels pretty sloppy with a small dial and a lot of spacing between the bezel and the dial. The designs of the actual watches have oversized elements to balance proportions, where these older ones have smaller details and broader empty spaces, which are actually the attributes of the 70s watches. And that's kind of the difference between them. You will feel immediately that you're wearing a vintage piece on the wrist. And speaking about its overall shape, we're looking at a tonneau volume which is accentuated by its thick lugs towards their tips, and together with the bracelet lugs they form a pebble-like shape. But with the addition of a normal strap, the continuous volume is interrupted and the watch feels more normal. And the profile is similar to the previous Accurate 5 model, with the same slim profile arched, having the same crown position and the same bezel profile. But once you get used to it, you'll love it. It truly provides that vintage aspect of a relaxed watch on the wrist. It feels good looking and brings the assurance of a modern built watch with the lines of a 70s one. In depth, the friction diving bezel is simpler compared to the previous model, which was busy with primary and secondary diving markers, where this one has lesser accents, with cardinal oversized markers, a big lume pip, and usual 20 minutes diving accents. The bezel color has a slightly different color than steel, feels coated with a matted gray tone, so it looks different than the overall case tone. I do not dislike it, but I wish it was made from the same material or coated in black for a superior contrast. The dial, as I was mentioning, is diminished with a thick concentric silver chapter ring which aims to create a bridge between the grey bezel and the matted black dial. The black dial has a nice blasted matted texture which has silver printing accents consisting in the old 5 logo but also the minute track. The markers compared to the previous Teneo model are reduced in size, being continued with metallic accents. However, the iconic faceted 5 hands seem to be the same, as well as the red seconds hand with a rounded tip, but also the text from the bottom, both matching chromatically the weekend days in blue and red. And I personally love the sports label and the block of text, which adds a bit of balance to the empty dial, and although the day-date metallic frame looks oversized, it kind of feels from the same picture. I think it works very well with the overall composition. And the lume, I'd say it's more than decent for the 5 series. When charged, it's nicely bright, but it's not that longer lasting compared to an SLA series, let's say. But the receipt of the lume applied feels to be pretty much the same. As comfort, the overall design looks pretty slim and lays down very well on the wrist surface. It unveils a nice presence due to the thicker lugs or the 38.5mm diameter. Overall, it feels comfortable, and the narrow linked bracelet feels comfortable for an entry-level bracelet. And if not, having 20mm between the lugs, the strap options are limitless for this model. Having the cool red and blue accents, it can be matched with all sorts of straps with rubbers, leather, NATOs, or even a Milanese bracelet. Now, the question remains, should you buy this watch? Well, the price is good, it comes with an extra strap, and the amount available for this color is 9,999 pieces for each color. And if you truly appreciate vintage Seikos and you missed the initial release, this is an exceptional model to collect and enjoy. I personally find it more simplified and interesting compared to the previous SRPK17. And if it's about affordability and accuracy to its original dimension, not to mention being good looking, the Seiko 5 SRPK05 Kamen Rider qualifies as a brave beater on the channel in the position number 61 alongside other iconic Seiko reissues. In the end, I want to thank Splendor for offering this watch for review, and I'm really curious to know what do you think about this Kamen Rider reissued model. Please let me know in the comments below. And as usual, if you're new around, please consider subscribing for future episodes. Thank you very much, thanks for watching, and until next time, be brave and stay safe.